Hi guys, got a great math trick for you here. I say math trick because it is a self-working card trick, and there are none better than this one because I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter what order the deck is in. There's no sleight of hand required. There's no presetting the deck. Everything can be wherever it wants to be, and this is going to work so long as you have a deck of 52 cards. So no going out and buying pinnacle decks or leaving the jokers in there. You want those out. You just want 52 cards in the deck. And you want the standard 52 cards. So when I say no jokers, I mean no jokers. Don't throw out 2 aces and put the jokers in and say there are 52. You want 52 standard cards. Okay. So now this isn't kind of a storytelling trick, but it does kind of have a script that goes with it, and it does deal with the fact that there are 52 cards in the deck. So I'm just going to go through this trick one time and show you what it looks like, and then I'll go back through and I'll kind of show you how I knew these things were going to occur. But you're going to love it because it works itself out so long as you know how to count on your fingers and toes. And I'm not going to show you my toes. Sorry. Okay, so here we go. 52 cards. You say, aha. And you know what? This is a good question because there are the same amount of weeks in a year as there are cards in a deck of cards. And I always ask this anyways because I want my kids to know how many weeks are in a year. But ask the audience member how many weeks are in a year and cross your fingers. Hopefully they can tell you, oh my goodness, you don't know how many people tell me 48 because they take 4 times 12. There are 4 weeks in a month and 12 months in a year. But there are 52. So you say, okay, oh, there are 52 cards. All right. What's half of 52? And hopefully they can tell you 26 because 52 is an even number, so 2 should go into it evenly. Okay. Now, one thing I did mention is before you do this trick, you can mix these cards up. You can shuffle a few times. And actually, I'm going to do that real quick just to show you that it doesn't matter what order they're in. Okay. I really am not doing any false cuts or false shuffles and keeping the card on the bottom. As a matter of fact, you see the card on the bottom here. I will make sure that it gets lost in the pile. But remember when I started this card trick, I said, okay, I said 52 cards in a deck of cards. What's half of 52? They say 26, so here we go. You say, okay, let's count out 26 cards. You say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. After counting out 26 cards, here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to turn over 3 cards. Doesn't matter what they are. In this case, it happens to be a 9, a 7, and a 4. And I'm going to set these down for a second because here's what I'm going to tell my spectator. I want each one of these piles to add up to 10. And of course they don't. But let's go over the rules here. A 10 counts for 10. Anything that's royalty or has a face on it counts for 10. An ace would count for 1. As you'll notice, though, I have no aces, and everything else is what it says it is. So this 9's a 9, this 7's a 7, this 4 is a 4. So here's where it comes into play. You say, okay, audience, how many more would I need to add to 9 in order to get it up to 10? They'll say, well, of course, hopefully, cross your fingers again. They say 1. Okay, so you say 1 card. There you go, 1. How many would you need to add to 7 to get it to add up to 10? Hopefully, they tell you 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? You say, how many would you need to add to 4 to get it to add up to 10? Hopefully, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so at this point, I've got all these adding up to 10, and here's where the math aspect comes in. You don't need to know why this is happening, but it just happens. And actually, the cool part about it is this. I'm going to pick up this pile, I'm going to put it back on the bottom, and I'll tell you what, I can tell you right now that the 20th card that you flip over, and I'm not going to tell you why it's 20. It's always a different number, but the 20th card you flip over has to be the 3 of spades. Check it out. This is the coolest trick ever. I love it. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Remember, you don't have to count in English if you don't want. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Oh, and the suspense is killing you. Here it is. Remember what I said. The 3 of spades. Now, how in the world did he do that? I know you're asking yourself that right now. Self, how did this man do this? Okay, so I'm going to explain this to you. And actually, I'm going to tell you all the secrets of it. And I know I'm going kind of fast, but remember, when you watch card tricks like this, you usually pause them, rewind them, you go back, you practice it again. But I'll tell you what, the card trick is always the same. And remember, with this card trick, since it works itself, it's a math card trick, the deck can be in any order at once. Okay? So you know what, you can even ask the audience members to shuffle it up a few times for you, you know, make sure there are no bent cards, make sure the cards are flush, make sure all the cards are facing the same way, that you haven't dinked with the cards, there aren't any duplicates in the deck. Look, there are all these different ways to cheat, which, in my opinion, most card tricks are all cheating and sleight of hand, and people are just not wise enough to see what you're doing. In this case, none of the above. This will work itself, as we said. Okay, so remember when I started, I said, how many cards are in a deck of cards? Hopefully they can tell you 52. So 52 cards, you say, okay, so what's half of 52? Notice I've started the same way again. Half of 52 is 26. Now I'm going to show you what I did. I'm not going to go in slow motion. But I'm just going to kind of give you a heads up here. You're going to want to remember the 7th card that you flip over. The 7th card that you flip over will be the card that you will predict in the future when you turn cards over. It'll be the one that you're predicting, like the 3 of spades was in the last time I went through this, okay? So here's what I do. If you're anything like me, you've got a horrible memory. You forget every single thing that you're asked to remember unless you write it down. You know, like on your hand or your forehead in reverse so you can read it in the mirror. But I'll tell you what, here's what I do. You don't have to do it this way if you've got a better memory than I do. We're going to flip over 26 cards, but remember I said remember the 7th card, so you count, and make sure you count right, okay? If you count wrong, this is going to fail, and it's no fun. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, here it is, the 7th card. Now remember I said remember this card. When you lay down cards, typically, I'll be very honest with you, unless you're a perfectionist, they don't lay on top of each other perfectly. So what I do is I kind of put this little 8 off to the side, or maybe this top left 8 here off to the side. They say, okay, 7, 8, notice I put that off to the side. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Look at me, I'm a cheater. I put it off to the side, but I'm very forgetful. Like I said, you don't have to do this if you've got a better memory than I do. Okay, remember after flipping over 26 cards, it was at this point, I'll move these up a little bit here, that I flipped over 3 cards, and recall that I wanted each one of these 3 piles to add up to 10. Now, I'd love to replace one of these with a face card right now to show you that a face card adds up, it counts as a 10, or maybe an ace, to show you that an ace counts for 1. But if I did that, it would throw off the trick because the deck's already set in an order such that the math will work itself out here when we predict the card. But I'll be very honest with you, these 3 top cards are going to be very important here. Yes, we have to add on to these to get them to add up to 10. But what I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to add all 3 of these together. We need to know this number. This number will be the number of cards that we'll have to flip over in a moment in order to get to this special 7th card, which was the 8 of hearts. So I say 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Okay, so remember 11 as well as remember 8 of hearts. But here we go. You say, okay, audience member, I want each one of these piles to add up to 10. Now, a face card counts as 10, a 10 counts as 10, an ace counts as 1, anything else counts for what it says it is. So 4 adds up to 4. What would we need to add to 4 to get up to add up to 10? Of course, the answer here would be 6. If you're not going to add these up immediately, those 3 top cards, what you can do is you can kind of put these down like I did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So that adds up to 10. How about 5? What would you need to add on to 5 to get it to add up to 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards. In order to add something to 2 to get to add to 10, you'd have to add 8. Okay, so we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now that being said, here's what I did last time. I know that these added up to 11, and I had picked up this pile. Remember, we're remembering the 8 of hearts here. They don't know this, okay? And I put it underneath these cards. And I said, okay, audience member, I know that the 11th card, and they don't know how I got 11, the 11th card that you flip over will be that special card, which was, dun, 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 the 8 of hearts. Okay, so the 8 of hearts. And a really cool thing to let them do is to let them flip over the cards. I mean, really, because they can see that you have hands off. Okay, look, Ma, no hands. You are not doing anything to the deck. So let's flip it over. Remember, 11th card, 8 of hearts. You're going to love it. Here it comes again. 1, 2, 3. Make it suspenseful. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check this out. There it is. 8 of hearts. Lovely, isn't it? Okay. So practice this trick. Make sure you practice, because if you don't, it really throws it off. And then nobody wants to see your card tricks anymore, let alone if you ruin a card trick, it never works again, especially with that person. Okay, so anyway, enjoy.